Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to welcome you to another episode of Here's What I Think with your host, Charles DeBancy, where we cover everything from current events, economics, politics, and how it all shapes business and life. Now, this is a topic that I've been wanting to get to for quite some time because it's something that I think quite a bit of the viewers watching this will relate to. I'm sure all of you at one point or another have taken a flight somewhere. All right, I'm sure that some of you travel more than others, maybe for business, for leisure, maybe to see family, whatever the case is. But we've all traveled at one point or the other. And for some people, it's a wonderful experience. While for others, it can be a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, especially if you've gone through moments where you've dealt with delays or you've had layovers, or maybe you've dealt with severe turbulence and all of that. As someone that has traveled quite a bit myself, one of the things I really don't like about traveling is just turbulence. It's just something that bothers me. At one point when I was younger, I was actually able to handle it pretty well. But then at one point I had a very, very, very bad experience where I was traveling from Orlando, Florida, I believe, to Texas. And it was the worst turbulence I had ever experienced in my life. And it was so bad, quite literally, that during the flight, I actually made a friend with this lady that I'm still friends with on Facebook years ago. Like, we made friends that day. But the turbulence was so bad. And as I was sitting in the aisle, I was by the aisle seat on the right-hand side of the plane. It was a plane that had like 2 rows. On the row to my left, there was a pilot sitting in the chair. And I believe he was going to go work another flight. So he was traveling to go to another place. So he was in the plane with the rest of the travelers. So the plane is shaking and shaking and shaking, and all of us are screaming. And I tapped the pilot, and I said to him, I said, "Do we need to be worried?" Because he was just reading like a newspaper. I said, "Do we need to be worried?" And he goes, "No, there's nothing to be. There's nothing to be afraid of. You shouldn't be concerned." And when the pilot said that to me, I was that pretty much calmed me down, and the people sitting around me when they saw him, give us confidence. The reason I'm saying that is because traveling can be a scary thing for some people. And unfortunately, some people who do decide to travel end up not making it to their destinations, which brings me to a story that has been resonating with me for quite some time now. And I've been following it on Instagram, and it has to do with Boeing, the company that produces airlines. As you guys know, they've been having a string of cases of their planes malfunctioning, planes crashing, whistleblowers, and the rest. And it's just been an absolute disaster. And I've been one of those people that has been saying this company needs to go out of business because of their flagrant lack of due diligence. So what happened? This morning I was doing some research and I came across an article from edition.cnn, and it says Boeing's crisis is getting worse. Now it's borrowing tens of billions of dollars. The article then continues on. Cash-starved Boeing, contending with massive financial losses from a crippling strike and years of operating and safety problems, is turning to major banks in Wall Street to raise tens of billions of dollars. In a regulatory filing early Tuesday, the company announced plans to borrow $10 billion from a consortium of banks. It also separately announced plans to raise $25 billion by selling stocks and debt. The company's debt surged in the last 6 years as Boeing reported core operating losses of more than $33 billion. Its commercial airline production has grounded to a near halt by a month-long strike by 33,000 members of the International Association of Mechanics. Talks between Boeing and IAM broke down last week with no negotiations planned. On Friday, Boeing's new CEO, Kelly Oberg, announced plans to cut 10% of his worldwide staff of 171,000 workers. Boeing's credit ratings has plunged to the lowest investment grade level, just above junk bond status. And major credit rating agencies have warned Boeing is in danger of being downgraded to junk. That would raise its borrowing needs. Boeing's long-term debt has climbed to $53 billion at the end of June from $10.7 billion at the end of March 2019, when a second fatal crash of the 737 MAX led to a 20-month grounding of that plane, the company's best-selling aircraft. Escalating crises. Over the last 6 years, Boeing has been buffeted by one problem after another, ranging from embarrassing to tragic. The 737 MAX crashes killed 346 people, a tragedy for which the company agreed to plead guilty to deceiving the Federal Aviation Administration during the certification process for the plane. A federal judge is considering whether or not to accept a plea agreement that would include up to $487 million in fines and require it to operate under the supervision of a court-appointed monitor. Attorneys for families of crash victims argue in court that the penalty is not severe enough. Whistleblowers have testified before Congress that Boeing's production process puts profits ahead of safety and quality, violating the company's own rules. That was driven home in January when a door plug blew off the side of a 737 MAX flown from from Alaska Airlines, leaving a gaping hole in the plane shortly after takeoff. While none of the crew members or passengers were severely injured, the incident prompted numerous federal investigations, including one that found the plane had left a Boeing factory without 4 bolts needed to keep the door plug in place. The strike by IAM is just the latest blow. Last month, the company and union leadership agreed to a tentative deal that would have given union members a 25% raise over the 4-year life of the contract, only to have the rank and file vote nearly unanimously to reject the deal and go on strike. Boeing's offer to increase the raise to 30% over the life of the deal was rejected by union negotiators. And then the article goes on and on and on and on and on and on. You heard what it had to say. Boeing is prioritizing profits over safety and quality assurances. A company like this that produces airlines should not be in business. And as a matter of fact, people like myself who do struggle with some of the issues of traveling, as I aforementioned with turbulence and all of that, I'm going to be one of those people now when I look to travel with a particular airline. If it's a Boeing aircraft, I'm not going with that airline. I refuse to, because that thought is always going to be in the back of my mind. And that is something that customers do not need to feel. A company like this should not be in business. We've all heard the stories of whistleblowers that have come out and said things that have gone missing. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy thing. And I just think that this company needs to be decommissioned and put out of business. Like, enough is enough. These are my thoughts. So what I want to know from the audience is, what do you think about this news? And do you think Boeing deserves to still make aircrafts that people travel on? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.